Hi, and welcome to Abnormal Psychology Assignment. This is an assignment that I've always really enjoyed marking, and I've heard from many students that they've also enjoyed doing it. This is basically bust a myth. So there are a ton of myths about abnormal psychology, in particular around psychological disorders. We draw some conclusions about different ones. That somebody who's depressed can, well, just get past it. Come on. Well, there's a myth about how easy it is just to get over something that's called depression. Now, anybody who's experienced depression clinically and has been diagnosed by an appropriate diagnostician can speak to the challenges of depression as not being easy to get over. And so it's important that in this assignment, we look at what the myth is and then bust that myth with facts and research. So this is to be completed by December 4th, and that's week 11. That'll be a Friday at 5 p.m. at the latest. If you try to post your assignment after 5 o'clock on the 4th, the journal that you posted in won't be there. So it's important to do so early and to do so beforehand. So read this document carefully. There's on page 2, there's a list of some myths. If you can't think of one, or if when you do a little research you find it difficult to nail down one, you might use one of the topics that I've made available for you. You don't need to. You can make up your own topic by a myth that you're familiar with. Maybe you watch movies a lot and you've seen people with certain psychological disorders depicted in certain ways. Maybe you wonder whether that's true and whether that's a myth. Page 3 starts to break down the process by which to do this assignment. First, you need to introduce your myth. So pick a myth and talk a bit about it. What do you know about it? Or what have you heard about it? Or you might even canvass some of your friends to determine a myth. What do you know about people with psychological disorders like depression or like bipolar? Then you need to research. Now, in this instance, I want you to go to the library and do your research because I want you to find 3 pieces of research that bunks or dispels the myth. Legitimate research. That's why I want you to use the library resources. Make sure you have a PIN number, or a remote PIN number, and again, you'll find that on the library webpage. Now, in this as well, it's important, no opinions. Okay, it's really important to do research. This is the way of clarifying the reality of people with psychological disorders, not necessarily following the myth. Now, all 3 come from the library. Now, I know some people like to do their own research, and if you use Google, you're running some risks. Not just, terrible risks, but you need to be familiar that Google, of course, is not an unbiased search engine. And it's important when doing your research that you do so in an unbiased manner. And that's why the library resources are so valuable. Now, some people will ask, well, can I use Google Scholar? You can ensure that you're familiar with and check the reliability and the authority of the people doing the research. Are they, in fact, able to say what they're saying? Is that their area of expertise? You need to do some work on that, because I will if I receive them that way. And that's what's really important. I want you to make sure that you're using credible and reliable academic work. Okay, and that's why the library is a good place to go. Now, you're going to find that in here, I want you to create a presentation, if you will. Use Keynote, PowerPoint, or Prezi. You're going to create a presentation that walks through what is your myth, what's the foundation, if you can be familiar with what that myth is. I also want you to look at what the research does to try to help bust that myth, keeping your opinion in check. It's not about your opinion. And also reflect on, and you might get this from your research, is what's the risk to the people with psychological disorders? Someone who's diagnosed with bipolar, and everybody just keeps accepting the myth about bipolar. What's it going to do, or what's the impact on this individual to hold on to the myth rather than the evidence? So what's going to be done? You're going to use Screencast-O-Matic. Now, again, I've said this before. There is a video. It'll be in week 1. It'll be in support videos. And it'll also be in week 7, I think I indicated. So watch that. Then if you have questions, feel free to ask. We'll come up with some solution how we could solve your issue. But do it before the deadline comfortably so I can be of some help. I want you to write a script of what you're going to say in your video, and then save that as a PDF so it can be posted. Your video, and again, if you watch the Screencast-O-Matic video that I make, I walk you through how to set up an account. Your videos will automatically save there, and then you can create a share link just like you do in YouTube. If you found a YouTube video that you like, you can say share, and it gives you a URL that when you copy and paste it into your email to your friend, they can get it, click on it, and go to that YouTube channel and that YouTube video. I want you to do that with Screencast-O-Matic or YouTube. It doesn't matter to me, but I want just the URL. If you post MP4s, that's what your video will be when it's finished. If everybody does that, some people won't get theirs in because it takes a lot of space. Okay, so just the link, your 3 pieces of research in PDF format. When you search in the library and you find a piece of a journal article that you think really applies to your myth busting, in the top left-hand side of the library website where you have your journal will be Save It as a PDF feature. Do that, and now you've got that piece of research on your computer as a PDF. Those 3 pieces will get attached in your journal in week 11 on December 4th. Your script will get added as a PDF, and the URL link for your video will be there. And then I can go in and start reading your research, reading your script, watching your video, and be able to sort of get a feel for what you've done and then be able to grade your work. All right, now on the last page, you'll see the breakdown. You see there's an equal distribution of marks between doing as good a job as you can on the multimedia presentation, so don't use a ton of words. A word, a phrase, or a sentence on a slide is plenty. The rest needs to be more graphics, pictures, graphs, things that tell a story or things that reflect what you're saying. And you can notice for some of the videos that I've made, I do a lot of that anyway, and I'm not judging you to see that you can do what I do. I just mean you making up a script and using graphics tells me you understand your content better, because it's difficult to do that if you don't understand your content. And there's grades for understanding your content. So that's why there's 20 marks for multimedia presentation and 20 marks for the summary of the resources. Okay? So that's your assignment. I hope you will enjoy it. Please, before asking me questions about it, please read it completely and watch this video through to the end. It might answer some of your questions, and if it doesn't, please email me or set up a meeting with me on WebEx, MS Teams, or Skype, and we can talk about it. All right? So good luck, everybody. I look forward to seeing what you're busting and seeing what your conclusions are. I look forward to this assignment. It's always very exciting. Sometimes you find myths that I'm unaware of, and I can do my own little research and see, oh my goodness, that's good to know, and I'm glad you've done that piece of research. All right. Good luck. Bye now.